Hello, hello, and welcome to the third weekly show as we prepare for the second pay-per-view stream. I am so excited to once again be joined by Xander. Xander, how you doing today, man?
I am fantastic. It's a wonderful evening for some Journey of Wrestling, and I look forward to all the matches we have on the cards.
Absolutely. My one promise to everyone watching is that there will be no more surprise title changes. We have figured it out. We have learned how to read, and I think we're in for a better show as a result. Um,
OP. Easy clap.
Absolutely. And we're going to start with my show just to knock that out here at the start. And we're starting with a four-way tag elimination match because I do love my elimination matches. And we've got three faces and a heel faction out of this world: Sammy Emerald and DJ Vector. DJ Vector's fine, but Sammy Emerald's legitimately a stud. Someone I've looked very hard at giving a little bit of a singles push. Unlimited, Bryson Pierce and Evan Zane, both very talented, both great tag team specific talents. Unbelievable El Rey Loco is a faction leader, right? And
Yeah,
Miracle
yeah.
These are both 4 stars across the board, but have yet to get a tag win. None of these teams, in fact, have gotten a tag win because they've only had 2 tag matches to this point, and first they lost the title to Magic Missiles, and then they lost it to Highway Robbery. Um, so then you have these heels in Savage Vengeance, um, the one heel faction here, with some workhorses and a few risk takers. So who do you think? They're all about the same popularity. They're all about
So,
the same overness.
you got a lot of similar overness. I think Unlimited benefits the least, but Unbelievable and Out of This World would be huge. Also, of course, giving your heel faction with the three faces the dub could set up some really cool storylines. So, if it's me, I'm giving it to Unbelievable or Savage Vengeance.
I am giving it to Savage Vengeance. You and I are on the same page there. Look at my cost decrease for my
Nice.
elimination
And a
matches.
five-star match.
Look at a 5 star. No holy shit moment despite Bryson Pierce bleeding. Not it's the hugest fan of that, but you know it's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, and
And it had cool spots.
cool spots, a little bit of blood. We do love to see it. We also love to see the next hype pay per view for my company, Firestorm, next month. And by next month, I mean literally the next time we all hang out together. Very excited to put that together, and thankful that my producer seems to have not fucked it up. So go team.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Meanwhile, we're now in a 6-way submission match. You can see a lot of different feuds here. Some of these are tag feuds that are carrying over. Some of these are solo feuds. You've got Cyan Orion and Malachi Bronson, who are the Keepers of the Realm champions as a tag team duo, both of whom don't have a ton of solo wrestling experience so far. But Cyan Orion, obviously a 3-3 who would love to get over with the crowd. Mistress
Hmm.
Jade, we saw her win last week, and she's obviously quite the contender. Tijuana King, young but very talented as a heel. Tilly Cooper, the heel turn for her has been incredible for her popularity with the fans. And Kagetsu's the killer, and she's always been a beloved heel figure. So,
I was
who?
going to say, always been the beloved murderer.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've got 4 heels and 2 faces in here.
Oh, this is hard. So obviously, you've got Malachite Bronson or Malachite Bronson, however you're pronouncing it.
Malachite, indeed.
Yeah. But I look at Tilly and I look at Kagetsi, and I think it has to go to one of those two. I would give it to Tilly, but I could read Kagetsi as well.
Look, Tilly obviously would appreciate the popularity boost, make her a main eventer. But you know who else is very close to being a main eventer? Come on, Mistress Jade.
Mistress Jade, that's fair.
Get the
That's fair.
push. Get the push going. That's 43 popularity. It's a 4.5 star match, and it's a hot
Yeah,
match.
solid match.
Everyone's more over. Everyone's more popular. Um, and look
Oh,
at
and
that.
and you
Holy
got a holy
shit.
shit moment.
Yeah. That's how we do it. Look, the people love the Demon Queen, and she is going to. I think honestly, I just made a mistake early on tying her to Kaio Jade, thinking that I'm gonna pull up um, the jabroni using this like really talented person, and
Mhm.
I just don't know that it's worth it. I'm curious to see if some of our other um, lovely contestants really focus on pulling some of those jabronis up. But the truth is, I've got a lot of talented people in the upper mid card and even the lower mid card who probably need to push a little more, which means
Mhm.
Mistress Jade is the first, but certainly not the last to get a little bit of a bump from there.
Right on.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have a street fight between the Chosen Ones and the Hall of Pain. This is one of those matches. There's a reason it's not the main event because I think everyone knows what's about to happen here. It's a,
That's valid. And it's got to be the chosen's ones
yeah, well,
taking this one's.
4.5 star
Words are hard.
match. They did get popularity and a morale boost for
Yeah,
each of
and
them.
Hall of Pain's pretty happy. So I think.
And
Oh,
a
and a
holy
holy
shit
shit.
match. There you go. We love when Wendy Blank spits in Jackson Hall's face and asking for a handshake. That's absolutely what we want there. Um, and we do love to see, right? Like this is the women's trio really proving that they've got what it takes, especially when the company says um, they need me to get that one right. But here
Yeah,
we
for
go.
sure.
Yeah, just a nice feud package about Brer, Allison, and Ariana Black. Obviously, not a lot of time on the show for this feud so far, just because you don't want to have the each individual title too often. I think on a weekly card, because you can maybe people aren't as excited about it when it hits the pay per view. So I've protected it, and I am not bringing the title in here, but I am putting Briar Allison, the goat, if you will, against Denise
Hmm.
Watson, Ai Hakai, Viuda Negra, Skull Tabaka, and Sumi Kabaya, who obviously we've got three main eventers here. Two people who are hoping to get there. Briar Allison very close. And Denise, who would like to just be on the mid card. She's otherwise just kind of happy to be here. But where do you see this one going as we close out the night?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Briar Allison still takes the win. No,
She
she's
does.
783. Yeah, yeah.
I need
I think.
I need to hype her up. I think heading into her feud against Ariana because,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, Ariana's not losing the title at Firestorm. I'm not quite ready for that to happen yet. But I need the feud to feel like it can happen,
It's
and that
real.
means
Yeah.
yeah. So Briar needs a win, and she needs to get. I want her to be a main eventer before she tries to make that final push to take it. And so that's what I went for. I did
And
get
one more holy shit moment.
yeah, the holy shit moment's very nice. It's a shame it's an under 4 star match. It means I get four and some change on the weekly card that has
Hey,
been good enough
still a
in the
good.
past.
Yeah, that's still a solid weekly card here.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough to either take first or second, and in most of these, unless the rest of us have an absolutely bananas week. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a solid card. You got three holy shit moments. You made your money back. A
Yeah.
lot of you pushed a lot of the storylines. This is exactly what you want to see in a weekly card.
Well, and Wendy Blank getting over with the fans is going to be huge as well. That's just another tool in my arsenal. So yeah, I'm very happy with how that one went. But let's see, Xander. It is time. Any thoughts on this card now that you've
Yeah,
given Carson
yeah. So
Gold his
we're
major
coming
battle
we're
royale?
coming off of finishing some more some more of our goals there, getting Carson Gold a major win. He's, a new person that we're pushing up, someone that I'll just say when I recruited them, I didn't have high expectations, and then the game rapidly made me change my ideas about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and ever since, he's been having solid performances. We also have somebody who's on their way out that may or may not play a factor in what we have coming up at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so we're gonna kick this off.
Absolutely. And we start with a five-way street match here. Um, Obviously, I think looking at the card, the two that pop off the most are Green Arrow and Serpentine Suprema. These are
Yep.
our upper mid carders. Sinister Tengu, great name, beloved by the fans. Vince Rivera, also very much a sleeper pick here. Someone with a little bit more of a push could easily get to that 80 threshold and become a 4-4, which you love to see.
Yeah.
Um, and Aiden Astral, for a jabroni, a lot to like. So what?
Yeah, so we got a lot of folks here that, haven't been getting a lot of that singles love. A couple of them, obviously Green Arrow ending up in the duos and the trios. Vince Rivera's been in a couple of matches, sort of just thrown in there as an extra heel. And we do, of course, have big plans for him. However, tonight there is a chosen winner, and that's going to be Serpentine Suprema, someone that we are hoping makes some big moves for the company here, and we're happy to see that everyone else agrees.
Yeah, that's a nice 4-star match. We are seeing obviously Serpentine getting a big push. That does put him into main event status, which you love to see. That's a nice push for him, and you're seeing him starting to get over with those fans. That's a nice overness change. Everybody got a positive overness change. Everyone got a positive
Yeah.
popularity change. So may not have been the highest score, but huge experience for your street fights and huge gains for everyone on the card. So
No,
well
honestly,
done.
huge. The fact that everybody was happy with that, Sinister Tengu and Vince, who we also have high hopes for. That being said, we're coming into the feud package, which
Oh
makes me want to
no.
cry.
Oh no, you'd already held a feud package for these two in particular.
In
And
the last event, did we?
in one of the few previous shows we had, apparently.
Oh,
Either that or maybe it was just that people
because
within the faction. Because I don't remember a feud package with this many people
I
before.
I don't remember either. But I guess I held a feud package with folks that had it. We're learning. We're
Yeah,
learning.
we are learning here.
Cause I
Also,
don't.
it's
Yeah.
got Kenny Diaz over with the fans, which is really funny.
that's that's great.
that's the one.
Fantastic.
That's the one guy you were really hoping to get the bump for
Yep.
this.
That's
But
okay.
that's
Whatever. We live and we learn.
all of your feuds get a negative effect here, which is
Yep.
unfortunate. But you know what?
Okay.
Very able to come back to.
Yeah, and
What?
and that being said, Kenny Diaz here, right? A guy that doesn't like the promotion anymore, has been very cranky,
Yeah,
extremely unhappy, and someone we don't really care about. So he is now a someone that's going to come in, and you will see him lose more. That's
that's
all I'm
true.
going to say.
Yeah.
And so, so tonight it's really a battle between Krieger and Carson Gold. Krieger, a heel that we do want to start pushing up here, but Carson, he's making moves, and this
Mhm.
could be a future face of our company, and we want to see him continue his climb. After the first two matches he was in, where he was kind of just a glorified extra that had some good performances, but the battle royale win last week, and he's picking up another win this week.
Absolutely. And you take a tiny bit of a loss for an unhappy worker,
I,
but
I
you get
wonder
it
who
back
that
with
could
the
be.
blood. Yeah, and it's a 4.5 star. Yeah, Krieger bled in the match, so he's definitely putting
Nice.
himself as a key figure there. I think,
Yeah.
no massive change. Certainly no changes to the overness of these other wrestlers. So
No,
it's a
of
nice
course.
game
I
for
mean,
Carson.
we also have Black Bull in there, but again, we've got some good heels in there, Krieger and Black Bull, that we have a lot of hope to continue doing what they're doing. And yeah, and now we're heading into the next match, which this is a
Yes,
big one for us.
it's
This is
it.
sort of kicking off the feud here,
Mhm,
between Castle Crashers and Vinland Saga.
mhm.
Simultaneously, you're seeing essentially what is coming to the culmination of the Emperor's Will, which has been a huge feud for us. Something that's been kind of kicking since before the first, or right at the first pay-per-view and all the way through now. And yeah, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I think it's got to be either Castle Crashers or Vinland Saga. No offense to the Jolly Roger, it's a great duo, and we love to see some neutral teams every now and then. But I think the mission you've been given is Wolf Klein to fight against Braden Castle, and while this won't count for that quest because he's asked for a singles match, you're clearly building the feud such that that singles match is going to be met with a lot of additional hype, and that people are going to be really excited
Exactly.
to see
And
it.
let's not forget that DJ Castle is crazy talented.
Yeah.
So it is going to be going to Castle Crashers here.
I think that's a smart call, and I think you can see the 4.5 there. You can see I'm not seeing the Emperor's Will blow off that I thought we were seeing in this
I think
match.
it's the next match that blows
Is
it
it the
off,
next
because that
match?
got it to,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, you do
Oh, but
get a
we got
holy
a holy
shit
shit
moment,
moment.
which you
Yep.
love to see. Um, okay. Yeah. We must have blown it off in the main event. And oh
Okay.
no, it's another already held
Yeah,
event for the event
I'm just
package.
gotcha.
I,
So,
I do think the feud package, I think you're right that it was like members within. We'll double check
yeah,
before we get to the next card.
yeah.
But
Maybe
this
I
one
did
you
hold it
definitely
for.
did.
I
I
did an event package for Glory or Go Home.
Yeah, you did the previous thing.
Okay.
Now
Well,
I didn't
whatever.
realize
I
that you
have learned
couldn't promote the same pay per view more than
like
once. It feels like you should be
once.
able to.
Yeah, it does, but it's okay. We learned that we have to be a little bit more diversified with our pay-per-view packages. Got it. Or with
Apparently,
our video packages. Yeah,
so
this is the blow off for the
this is
Emperor's
the
Will.
blow
So
off for
this
the
is
Emperor's Will.
the final match for the Emperor's Will, and we have, of course, Phil Hangtime, Deputy Newland, Lethal Chris, Lethal Mark, Matt Payne, and Azaki Cordova. I will say that as you know, I think it's pretty predictable where this one is going. It's a ladder match. It's the men's lightweight. Everyone knows that Phil Hangtime has been someone that we are growing up. This guy's 18 years old,
Yeah,
830 popularity, 4-4, already 100% over.
the
So he
honorary hang
will,
time. Yeah,
yeah, he will eventually have to take a loss, but it is not tonight. As he is going to take the dub home, and we're happy to see that
look
everyone
at
else is happy
that
with that.
53 popularity. He is getting to the high 880s with that, which you love to see. That's like if you want him to be a face of the company.
Yeah,
He's
and I
surely on
want to
his way.
note that the plus 11 to Azaki. Azaki is probably the other person on this card that we most want to build up right now. Another super talented wrestler. You know, Matt Payne, great. Deputy Newland's kind of a meme dude, though. He is in a new tag team that we look forward to. You know, getting to for all of you getting to see more of. But yeah. So
Yeah,
all in all, obviously we had some stuff happen tonight,
and
two holy shit moments, but the video package is really dragging down the score. So
now
we'll
let's
be
see.
happy with
Four
the
star.
4 star that we get. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be happy with the 4 star that we get. Probably not enough. This might be one of our lower end cards. But considering I learned something new this evening about how the event packages work, and that I cannot do the same one twice, two events in a row.
Ugh. Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to check and see what had happened there, but it looks like we're gonna have to wait till the end to go
Oh,
check
that's
that out
fine.
because we
Yeah,
need everyone
let's
else's
get
turn
through the
first.
turns and we can
Um,
figure it out later.
let's do Eduardo. Eduardo, speaking of learning lessons, we've all learned from last week, and I'm excited to go out into his card because he's starting with a championship. His opening match, Liam Draco, the current champion, and Traladora Anderson, I believe that's how you pronounce that. The machine gun. Obviously, he's right on the verge of that popularity boost. Liam Draco's already there. Who do you see getting the edge?
Oof, this one's close. I mean, Liam Draco is already there. You might want to give him the win, but looking at this, his morale is high. Oh wait, this is a championship match
Mm-hmm.
actually, so I take that back. Liam's gonna get it, but I do think it's smart to have Ametralladora in here. Hopefully, he's happy with this match going the way that it is, and we go from there.
See, here's the thing. We
Uh,
are going to get a DQ finish. Draco is going to retain, and this was a fun thing. I had to double check my notes here because this could have been Ametralladora doing the DQ win. It would not have changed the belt, as we can see by no title change, because we have learned to read. But no, this is a storytelling. Draco needs to cheat to take the win here. It is going to be a penalty of the
Gotcha.
match quality, but I think from a long-term storytelling perspective, this is clearly telling Ametralladora fans, like, look, he's coming for that title. He's ready for it. He's
Yeah.
hungry for it. Um, it will be very interesting to see. It's a little bit of a quality hit for this match. It would have been about 4 1/3 star otherwise, but he's making a long term play, and with the pay per view about to happen, I think there's something to be
Yeah.
said for that.
Absolutely.
But we are going to move on here. Kyle Cage versus El Cuervo in a street fight. Kyle Cage, of course, the UK's best, a face with a lot of fan loyalty, very popular, right on the verge of being a main eventer. El
Yeah, I was gonna
Cuervo,
say I don't recognize this version of Johnny Cage, but it makes sense. He's from the UK,
yeah,
so
this is Johnny Cage's son. You didn't know he had
Ah,
one, but here he is.
gotcha.
And meanwhile, El Cuervo, the Raven, you love the mask, you love the blue stop sign, and you love that he has taken the first win when these two went up against each other. Do you think that he repeats here, or is this Kyle Cage's match to win?
This is rough. I think you gotta give one to Kyle Cage. I think Kyle Cage is right at that threshold for the popularity. He's also a little bit lower morale, so you might want to pull it up, especially if you want to have this feud continue on in the pay per view. But I'm curious to see how Eduardo chose.
Eduardo agrees with you. This is a Kyle Cage win, and
Yes,
they're in great form. A near 5-star match. You can,
phenomenal.
yeah, that's what you want to see. Obviously, El Cuervo doesn't love losing, but he has overness to spare, and his morale, like he's doing fine. The important thing is that Kyle Cage is now a bit happier, and you have this, this who anyone can win mentality, which I think is underrated sometimes with feuds. Um,
Absolutely.
50 booking can work, but we have another championship on our hands. This is the Toki Championship, and it is a six-way teddy bear on a pole match. The teddy bear on a pole is going to be a new staple for this company moving forward, which I could not be happier with, to be honest with you. Um,
Yeah, teddy bear, obviously filled with money on the down low, but it's on a pole. Pole matches, they're very volatile, can go either way. Excited to see how it goes for Conrad Supernova tonight.
Yeah, I mean Conrad Supernova. Spoiler: alert, he is going to retain, but I do think, it's just important to note Ed Thompson, 73 overall, certainly 73 overness. Excuse me, someone who is gaining popularity with the fans, and if he can get that push over, he becomes a 4-4 face. That would be really nice to have, and really plays into the Cameron Johnson feud well. Both of them could really benefit. And Requiem Avillo, if he gets lucky here, he's only 9 popularity away from being a main eventer. So let's see, does the pole match help? It certainly, well, mixed bag.
Certainly, kind of, because you got the holy shit moment, but
It
it
did
decreased the total.
decrease the mat, yeah, and you get so popularity hits, but over this is a morale change for everybody. Conrad obviously very happy to get that boost. That will cement him as a main eventer, and you do love that extra 30 creativity points, given where
Yeah,
Eduardo
and
used to
and
be.
and the belt still got some XP. So all in all, this is a positive match. Obviously, not what you want to see in terms of the match rating, but everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, that's really, I think this is when you look at something like, where we are learning here a bit, and you're seeing, like, here you go, producer focus. He only had the one
Yeah,
segment, and it's near 4 stars. That's big. Um,
yeah.
but you wonder, right? Like, was the DQ the short term hit? Is it going to pay off in the long run with a better card? This is a very interesting weekly package from Eduardo, and I think it shows some forethought that I'm really looking forward to seeing how the pay per view pays off. But first, we have our third championship match of the night. Violetta defending against Laia Abalos. These are two women who are already very over with the fans, who are pretty happy to be here as things stand. Layla, obviously, too pretty, but the Violet one, I think, has had the upper hand so far. Who do you think's going to take in this?
I think Violetta takes it here again.
Yeah. I did kind of foreshadow at the beginning, no more surprise belt changes, but look at that.
Oh,
That's
that's a
a
huge
five
match.
plus star match and good psychology bonus.
Yeah, and that should maybe make up for his earlier match. So he might end up higher than me here, which you would love to see.
Absolutely. I mean, especially because the segment went so well.
Yeah,
This is everything you want to see. A nice ladder effect. You like to see the hot match bonus for the two of them. That's just hype overall for the event, which is great, especially because it leads into our fourth title match
oh
of
my
the weekly
gosh.
show. Eduardo,
Yeah,
look, this card is getting people hype for what's to
this card
come.
is stacked, and
Yeah.
it's stacked. I mean, he put a lot of thought into this one. He's trying to hype up the the pay-per-view, and he picked a lot of very hot matches going into
Yeah.
this. So,
The
of course, the only thing I will say, you got to watch for those feuds now that we know how those work. But
Yeah. Well,
otherwise, I think this is fantastic.
well, this has been one of those. Like I looked through earlier as I was booking this. He's done a really good job of spreading his matches out. So, I think
Yeah.
I think the faction feuds we're learning can be very dangerous because of how many things it includes, and we know
Hmm.
that the individuals and the larger parts now all count against each other.
Yeah.
So, the fact that he doesn't do a trios division, he has no trios division, and the fact that he like, hasn't done a
Very
faction feud, I think has made it a
well.
little
He's
bit
got the
easier to
one
manage.
headhunting faction feud, but yeah.
Well, he has a singles feud that has a faction built to it. He doesn't have
Yeah.
two actual factions feuding the way that like
Gotcha.
your end of the
Gotcha.
line
Yes.
does.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes. No. No. No.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and for
Yeah.
the
You and I learned the hard way. For everybody else.
yes, and there's a 4.5 star. The Constellation,
Ah,
obviously, it's a
huge
little
card.
bit of a hit, but it's a nice boost for the Hiroshima Hotties. It's another ladder match experience. He is so close to leveling that up. You're seeing the experience gain for some of these smaller championships really does pay off. And let's see what the overall card gets. That's four and
Yep.
a half stars. He is going to overtake me with the best
Yeah.
card of the night so far. That's what you love to see. This is, again, like you can take a little hit here to do some long form
As
storytelling.
long as you, yeah,
You,
build everything else out well.
yeah,
And that Violetta match was huge. I
it,
mean, that,
it was everything.
and of course, Vince Bailey doing a good job on the one package that they held.
Yeah, which obviously,
Those two things coming together for, just a huge card tonight.
yeah, and I will say that's something that both Walter and Eduardo did on this card. They only had one production segment, which I think if if you've had a couple tough weeks, you're trying to build up some momentum again. I think that's the right call, right? It
No,
is,
I do too.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I even considered putting a fifth match instead of a second video segment, and now that I'm seeing it work out for Eduardo, I am gonna factor that into my strategy going forward.
yeah. It's just you gotta evaluate the benefit of a better production facility in the long run versus the short term, as things are so close. But we have to start. I don't know why it's not listing this as a triple threat.
Okay,
there is no feud here between these
gotcha.
three. These are just three talented wrestlers. We got
But I
Talia
mean,
Adler,
Talia hates everybody,
Nora
so it
Nunes.
is a feud.
Y-
Talia hates anyone who gets into the ring with her. So
She does, and these are like all three of these are your jabronis. Technically, they're all
yeah,
the people that cards don't, or I guess the lower mid carders maybe. I don't remember exactly how that goes, but it's the below 600s, and
yeah.
you can see Nora Nunes, a goddess in her own right. A strong worker who maybe needs a little bit more work on the overness. Trixie Albright, certainly happy to be here. Talia Adler, very charismatic. Maybe not as
Mhm.
good of a pure wrestler as Nora is. But who do you think gets the win here?
If I'm looking at these, I obviously can see arguments for all of them getting a little bit of a boost. I would give this one to Talia because it looks like she's the one you can build up the fastest to get into your bigger card matches. But yeah,
This is going to go to Nora Nunes, actually.
okay,
And unfortunately, this is just a 3-star match. This is one of those, like, there's no gimmick here.
yep.
Um, there's no feud going in. Um, and I think this is, kind of one of those game mechanics we're seeing play out, right? They're not the best workers. We're seeing that with
Yeah.
Trixie Albright, right? She's a 2-star, so she's not the holy shit moments get hurt a little bit there as well. Unfortunate, obviously, to a start of the card, but there's still plenty of game left to be played, including this 3v3 match between Rei Sangre, Enlightened Cruz, and Guro Sanji. Enlightened Cruz and Guro Sanji, obviously better known as the Prophets, the tag team here, versus
Hmm.
the Prodigy, which is a faction with um, D'Angelo Starr, Jordan Wolf, and Devontae Harrell, accompanied by their manager. Um, who do you think takes this one?
You got to give it to Prodigy. They got Tyson Morriso, who's like Ciades card has been a great manager and everything. I think they're more popular. They're close on that overness, and they could use a good win here. And it's good to set up the heels in this one, I think.
Walter agrees with you. You get some smooth performances here. Um, Devontae Harrell certainly very happy about that. And it's a nice match overall. It does, again, without the gimmick, you're looking at a 3.5-star match that got a smooth performances bonus. Um, I think there's something to be said about how to, maybe get some more feuds involved. There was no feud here or outside of a single better wrestler.
Yeah,
Um, but ultimately, I think Prodigy getting a win here does help, and we'll see what it leads to in the long run. We get a event package
yeah,
for the Heritage Cup.
already held.
Walter getting the same lesson that you did.
Yep,
Unfortunately,
yep.
this is something none of us knew, because the way the game typically works, right? Is it's checking for whether something has been done for a specific feud or within a card, right? Like getting two gimmick packages in the same card hurt me a couple weeks back. Event packages feel like you should be able to hype your pay-per-view more than once. That's a
Yep.
mechanic I do not agree with, and it's
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
don't agree with it either.
85% effectiveness. This one would have been the best
4 star
package
probably.
Walters had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been a
more.
four,
It would have been
even
four
four and a
plus
half.
because
Yeah,
he had the producer
yeah,
bonus. Just
yeah.
uh, uh,
That sucks.
yeah, we can yell at the game mechanic as much as we want, and I think we'll be right, but we have to move on. Unfortunately, we have a submission match for the Intercontinental. Kenzo
Okay.
Nye, a great performer. The inner core here, with a 3-3, wants to be that 4-4. Already a main eventer, has a win and two losses, as he's been built up in some other matches. But Keiichi Sakurai, he's the real one. He is the belt holder. So do you think we're getting a turn here? Or do you
So
think he is...
I think it's gonna go to Keiichi. I mean, I would like to see Kenzo Nai get a win soon. But obviously you're competing for the belt. This isn't your main card. This should go to Keiichi.
It does go to Sakurai. And it's a big match for him. It's a holy shit moment, which we love to see. It's a submission match level up, which for Walter here, that is a lowered injury rate, which I think is fascinating.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that that was a thing that needed to be leveled up for your submission matches, but certainly you love to see that. You love to see the holy shit moment, and you love to see a nice 4-star
Four
match,
star.
right?
Yeah.
And we'll see that submission match, I think, continue
Listen,
to
if
happen.
he's got two good ones to finish this off, he might still end higher than me. So
We'll certainly see. We're looking at
yeah.
another non-gimmick match. This is a lads versus a Turnham. Two factions coming out against each other. For the individuals here, we're looking at Matt Militant, Sean Torres, and Craig Opley. Some great workers, very charismatic, very over with the crowd. But of course, we're also looking, when we talk about a Turnham, we're looking at Algenico, M60, and Wild.
Hmm.
Ethan Wild to be specific. Another great group. Both of these have tags within them. You're looking at Down Under for the lads and AR60 with the Eternum. So they've got some duo synergy. They've got some faction synergy. Which of these two do you think takes the win here?
Oh, this is tough. You know, I think the lads should be the ones to take it because they're more popular than the faces. They've got that this new synergy. Because I do believe this is their first time wrestling together, right? And I think you want to take it over the heel, at least in the first matchup. Give the faces the win and then set it up for later. But I could also see Eternum taking it. I would say though the lads.
You are correct, and that's a nice 4.5-star match for Walter. He's got to be happy to see that.
Yeah.
Um, the feud becoming hot between Ethan Wild and Craig Opley is also huge. We're seeing all three members of that team, or actually of the losing team, are starting to get over with the fans, which is a
Yeah.
huge benefit, right? You don't typically see an overness increase for the losers, but We're seeing it here, and we're seeing obviously a bigger boost for the lads. So a really well done match, and I think this is honestly when you're talking about a match without gimmicks, right? If you compare it to the 4-star we got earlier, this one just a tour above, and I think it's because
Yeah.
they're teams that are a little bit more popular, but also teams with a little bit better work rate, and that's the difference here.
Yeah.
That's a whole half star, um, which is always worth keeping in mind. But we are ending our card tonight with Eddie Davis and Jules Murphy. Jules Murphy, the Terminator, and the ER is very important there, versus the Time Traveler Militia. Two very interesting gimmicks, both
Yeah.
very much your kind of pseudo fantasy people. Eddie Davis, obviously, morale wise, not doing great, but to be fair
Yeah,
to Walter,
that's what I was just about to comment on.
I don't know that Walter knows that, right? Because he's not
Okay.
here in the app every time. He's talking to me and asking for some feud details, which I'm gonna send over. But I also do feel like maybe this is something I schedule some time with Walter this week, just so
Yeah.
he can get a little bit of an insight. But
Yeah,
who
I
do you?
mean, neither of these folks are extremely happy. Obviously, the 65 morale is a little bit higher, but this is one of those matches where it's like, they're within enough to where if it's me, I'm probably giving it to Eddie, of course, gaming the morale a little bit, knowing that Jules might take a hit, but just to kind of even them out. But also because Eddie, is really close on that overness here,
Yeah.
and is only 18, so the upside, despite it, being like a charisma thing, a 4-3 at 18 is huge, and so
Yeah.
you want to keep them happy and give them that popularity bonus too, that they might
Yeah.
be able to pop over that 800 with just one win.
To become a
So
main
yeah,
eventer, and this is the main event of the night. I think it's big for him to be here. I think that's Walter's philosophy. He is giving the win to Jules Murphy, and it is going to be a
okay,
4-star match. I think the morale change for Eddie Davis, that's something he's going to keep in mind. But you look at the disrespect feud buff. These are two people that have had. This is the Dominatus Tenebris and the lads. This is a faction feud that has really come together well. And we are getting a
and
holy
one
shit
more holy
moment
shit moment, yeah,
and a level up on the
the street
street
fight.
fight match, which, as we know, the leveling up your street fight to gold is how you unlock a couple thresholds
Bonus, yeah,
for new gimmick matches, which are gimmicks that have been requested a few times. So, yeah, look, he's gonna get you with a 4
4-star,
star.
yeah.
Honestly, if he hadn't used the first match of the night on 3 people that are very much in the jabroni tier, I think
Or if he
he's
had known what we learned in the first match.
yeah, maybe if he, maybe if the event package goes a little bit, better. If if funnily enough, he dropped a feud package that would have obviously had a better score in favor of this one when he realized we only had 6. So it's just kind of one of those, either one I think helps, but
Yeah,
he very much could have had the card of the night, which for him, huge,
yeah.
big win. But now we are trying to load the overall effect here,
And we'll wait and wait and wait because it's gonna take a second.
which it shouldn't, and I'm a little bit concerned about that fact, to be honest with you,
Uh-oh, we're scared.
because let's see, are we seeing any?
As the person who has the most to lose here, if it doesn't load, no.
I I I really feel like this is unfortunate.
No, it would be very unfortunate, especially with how well Eduardo did. I would not like to see him get screwed out of his very, very justifiable and strong victory here that he deserves.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna wait a little bit. Um, I don't want to hit that continue button because the problem here, for those of you who don't know, is that if you move on before the uh, kind of cards can be compared against each other, what ends up happening is it doesn't calculate the gained and lost fans uh, based on the show, which essentially means like you'll get the resources you gained for the card, but you won't see any fan changes for the card. Which right now, given that those would impact Eduardo and Walter the most, and they are the ones who need it the most, would be a tragedy. I think it's safe to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I have the most to lose here, and I had the lower. Well, Walter and I both had 4-star right tonight, so
Um, I think,
yeah.
uh, I think he might have had a little higher. I don't remember. I thought yours was
No,
a
no,
little
because we
slightly under 4 stars, but
no. I was 4 stars flat.
okay. So yeah, it would be
So yeah,
at the very least an Eduardo win.
because you were slightly over 4, and Eduardo was 4.5. So yeah, again, you hate to see it. This is one time I will, say that I definitely don't want to be favored here by the game. Would be nice to just keep it squared away.
You know what? I think, um, I've put a thing in the bug discussion chat on the Discord. I think we're gonna pause the recording here, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
we'll we're gonna wait
Yeah.
as long as we can for this to figure itself out, and we'll come back when it's done.